Well, my cat got out again. He got really sick last time he got out, so I'm pretty upset that this keeps happening. I wish he weren't so persistent. But I noticed something really interesting that's incredibly different about this one rhubarb that I purchased. It has flower buds. My other rhubarb, which I now have 8 of, never gets flower buds. So I've never seen rhubarb with flower buds before. These are just pile upon pile of rhubarb. So how do you know if a rhubarb is ripe? That's not ripe. I yanked on it and it didn't come off. That's not ripe either, huh? That one's ripe. It just comes right out when they're ripe. You kind of pull them a little bit sideways and they should come off with their socket at the bottom. That one came off super easy, so it's definitely ready. Same with that. You can kind of tell when they're really new, they're super wrinkly. And when they're old, they're kind of at the bottom of this cascade of branches. See, that one wasn't ripe. I'm going to take it in anyway, because they're not that bad when they're not ripe. But you should wait until they're fully ripe. Now this one, now that it's putting up seeds, this is overripe, I believe. It comes off really easy, but that stem is, well, A, it's green, but B, it crunches instead of being pliable. It doesn't hurt it to be rid of it, though. This is probably ready. Nope. Are either of them? Nope. So this is in its 2nd year, and it's got all of these florets, and I'm going to be really interested to see what rhubarb flowers end up looking like. Let's also see what very young root cuttings look like, because there's a bunch of those over here. This is a really young root cutting, as is this, and this. There's one over here as well, somewhere. I thought I saw one over here at any rate. I might be wrong. Maybe it was this side. Ah, yes. These ones got an early start because they were sheltered by this daffodil, but the roots will be a problem later because the daffodil roots will probably outcrowd the rhubarb. So here is the harvest. Now the reason I have so many of these rhubarbs is because the central roots started to die. And the side roots started to sprout. This was one of the larger central roots, and it kind of raised up out of the ground when I planted it. And I planted them all along here in the fall as well. And not a single one has come up. My theory on this is that this is a brick wall that faces the setting sun. I think that they underwent too many freeze and thaw cycles during the winter, because the ground would freeze, and then the brick wall heats up with the sun and thaws it, and they probably just didn't survive. Because not a single one of the 8 or so that I put here came up. And 5 out of 6 on the other side did. And then there was one I don't even remember planting that probably just came with the dirt that I was moving whenever it was over there where the tulips are. One of the tires had a rhubarb in it that started to die, and I just moved all the tires over here. And with that move, this one's in here with my strawberries. My strawberries of all the darn things. Like, I don't know about all that. But what can you do? So that is rhubarb. Perpetual rhubarb, the kind that doesn't put up blooms, you can get it under that name out of mail order catalogs, doesn't do this flowering thing. This is, I guess, a typical type of rhubarb. And this is really weird to me. I've never seen this. So if you have a standard rhubarb, and I guess I lucked out the first time I bought a singular rhubarb and got the perpetual kind. The difference being that as the season goes on, the oxalic acid builds up in most types of rhubarb. And so by midsummer, you can't eat it because the oxalic acid is high enough that it's not a healthy food. Then these, that doesn't happen with these. The other thing that happens, oh look, we have a stink bug. Stink bugs are basically massive aphids. They suck the moistures right out of the plants. Now they don't bite, but there is a species moving in that does. They make a ton of noise when they fly, and they smell awful if you pick them up wrong, or if they get upset or squished. And apparently the squish smell, the smell of the squish, oh look, there was also a slug in there. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Tiny little baby slug. Just stick him on the wire. I don't really want him eating my foods, but that's why there's little holes in the leaves, is because that's how slugs eat. The way to get rid of these guys is to hand collect them and have a jar mixture of soap and water, which in my case is in the house. Hi buddy, you miss your friend. And just plunk them in there. They can't get out of the soap. It's great. Litkin's very sad that Randall's gone. Hence the forlorn mow sound. I'm very upset that Randall's gone too, because the last time he got out he got epically sick. He wants to chew on all the plants. Then his stomach's upset for a day and a half. Making a mess all over the place. Another exciting thing. Look at that asparagus. It is over an inch wide. And it's ready to harvest, so out it comes. I think I'm having rhubarb and one asparagus for dinner tonight. That is huge. Look, I mean, let's see, are there any standard sized daffodils to compare it to? I mean, look at it compared to my face. Hi, whoa. And then, here we go. Asparagus, daffodil. Definitely eating that tonight. Oh, there's another wee little one coming up right there. It's probably ripe too, because the trick isn't the size of them. The trick is to get them while they're still tender and this head's still closed. And the purple asparagus is an enormous type of asparagus. Here's another one coming up. It's going to be a big one. That one will be most ripe probably tomorrow. So it's getting to be actual food season in the garden. That's exciting. And the cherry blooms are done. Almost, I think just within 2 days they were already finished, and it was like they were snowing all over the garden, and now we got little tiny little mini cherries everywhere. I hope they all got fertilized because I love cherries. Same thing's happening with the Saskatoons. Shadberry, serviceberry, Juneberry. They're native. They got a lot of names. And I still don't see any signs, much of any signs, of my seedlings popping up here. I hope they do. Really want them. So, oh, my hand smells a little bit like stink bug. That happens. Yeah? Oh! The plum is officially settled in healthily. It's got open leaf buds. Yay, new plum doing well. And my walkways are being narrowed by drooping daffodils everywhere. And these are open enough that they've got their bright red centers in some cases. There we go. Just a berry. Though it was sold under the name of black currant to me in 2001, I now know better. And of course the daffodils are everywhere. These are pink. I like them. Yeah. So I guess it's time to cook some food. Huh. Let's just take a look at the pear and apple tree very quickly, because they are in full bloom right now, and blooming more than they ever have, both of which are definitely, oh look, there's like little baby pears at the bottom of those. And then these also, there's one more cluster over here. Last year I just had one cluster of flowers and 4 apples, and over there also one cluster of flowers and 5 pears. So it is appearing that this ought to be a much better year for my espaliered fruit trees. Happy spring, everyone. I hope everything's going well for you. I'm gonna go eat my food. Yay!